ladies and gentlemen, this is SidAlpha, and I'm coming to you tonight with another episode of Is It Worth It? Tonight we're looking at Massive Chalice, a game released on June 1st by Double Fine Productions. This game is a turn-based tactical strategy game with fairly interesting resource mechanics to boot. Overall mechanics, you will notice in this game, are fairly similar to the XCOM series. However, it does provide a nice medieval style setting and a refreshing take on those style of mechanics. Let's take a quick look at the options menu. We do have standard resolution and mode, VSync and brightness. Visuals, the graphics settings, there's not a whole lot here, but more than what I have seen on several other past indie games that I have reviewed. Controls does have key bindings with fully rebindable keys. We'll back out of that, and this can use a gamepad. However, like I said, it does have full use of keyboard and mouse, and it's perfectly fine with these controls. I haven't had any issue with them whatsoever so far. Audio is about what you would expect. We'll actually go ahead and turn subtitles on there. So, this is it. Massive Chalice. Let's go ahead and launch a new game. Now, you do have thematic serious, which is choose between thematic serious or non-thematic silly, names and sigils for your heroes. Silly apparently were created by the community. Well, actually, we'll select both there. Now, my first playthrough on this, and I'm about 4 or 5 hours into, I did select a hard difficulty mode simply because typically normal is fairly easy. However, this game does ramp up the difficulty level as you go through the game. So I'd recommend for people first getting into this style of genre, you definitely select the normal mode. For those of you familiar with XCOM and games of this nature, then hard and brutal modes will work fine for you. Let's see, we have Balanced Start. With Balanced Start enabled, your initial group of heroes will be evenly distributed between the 3 core classes instead of being completely random. You have Iron Mode, where you have a single save game that is overwritten after every action you take. This makes your choices permanent, and then you can choose to turn on the tutorial. Now, if you haven't played this style of game in a while, I would actually recommend using the tutorial mode to get you reacquainted with the controls. So let's... Now, it states here, the Vanguard is a party of 5 heroes that you control in battle. Basically, this is your fire team. Selecting the houses for your starting Vanguard is purely cosmetic. So we'll just go with the Rad. And we'll pop down to the V's. How about a Q? A Q would be good here. Oh, I like that one. A Q in Q. Yeah. So as you can see, there's quite a few different banners to choose from for the different houses. Alright, now that we have chosen our Vanguard banners, we'll confirm and hop in. Now this game, the premise of this game is that is your kingdom. The world is slowly being engulfed by this darkness, which is basically your realms are all that remain in the world. Now, what is happening here is a male and female voice.
Your ruler has risen. Rejoice and let
which I'll actually tone out and let you listen to here for a little bit.
Immortal protector of the nation, progeny of the great bloodlines, master of strategies, eternal conductor, and forger of matrimony.
We're here to advise you on how to handle ruling and commanding. Every time.
The horns of battle!
Fine, we'll have to do this later. The Cadence is attacking. Heroes, jump in! The ruler will be with you shortly!
And off they go.
We'll explain later. We just need you to take command, because our citizens, understandably, find it hard to trust a giant talking chalice.
We are not just a giant talking chalice.
But the nation will listen to you, because you're of their blood.
Forged from the bloodlines of the great houses.
Oh, and one last thing. Unfortunately, the bloodline ritual that was used to create you also bound you to us. So you can never leave the throne.
But do not despair. You can still command your heroes. Look inward, and you will find that your mind can follow them anywhere.
Hero messed up the landing there. Not a good sign.
Quiet.
Okay, so here we are. This is starting area. And basically, this is where you get into the turn-based tactical combat. Now, we have hunters, which are basically ranged combatants. And then we also have a saberjack, which is basically a very powerful melee unit. And then we have the alchemist, which is a thrower. They're basically the artillery guy. They throw grenades or flasks, which detonate. And we have to find the enemy and kill them. Now, I'm not worrying too much about tactics here, as this is the first mission, but this will give you a basic feel for the combat. Now, this graphic style does have that interesting oil painting style motif, which seems to me to be much more common these days. It's not a bad art style. When I first encountered it with a few other games, I thought it was interesting and fresh, but now I'm starting to feel like it's being mildly overdone. That being said, the overall graphics of this game are not bad whatsoever. As you can see, the gameplay is stable so far. To this point in time, I have not had a single crash or glitch. I have not encountered any noticeable frame rate drops. The overall game stability is quite solid so far. And I can't find where any of the bad guys are. See, this is the difficulty with a map like this. You gotta run all over the place. There they are. Okay. Now that we know where they are, we can go about with whipping their butts. Okay, so with this archer, when you hover your mouse pointer over your enemy target, you get shown in over the enemy your chance to hit and your potential damage rating. Now down here in the center we have abilities that you will get more options as your fire team level up and as your technology level improves. That was a miss. Okay. Now, you do have to be careful with this grenade thrower if you're going nearby the other members of your fire team, because when you throw that grenade, if you miss, there is a chance that you could accidentally hit and actually kill members of your own team. Isn't that exciting? The problem here is this level seems to be very spread out. And so it is difficult to locate all of your enemies to be able to take them out. This can be a bit of a pitfall with these style of games, but now these should be the last ones probably. So let's just run on up there. And of course these guys are never going to make it in time because I sent them just plainly the way wrong direction. Alright, we're going to go ahead and throw another one there just for fun. Right on target twice in a row with below 70%. That's not bad. Up here. There we go. Missed. Oh, he lived through that. That's a shame. Oh, there's more up there, too. So as you can see, there are quite a few enemies that you end up battling. There we go. Quite a few enemies that you do end up battling, and for the most part, the difficulty with each enemy does tend to ramp up quite a bit. And as you progress through the game, you will, of course, undoubtedly encounter different enemy types that will, of course, have different abilities and different effects. See, oh, she messed up there. That was bad. And he missed as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now, instead of continuing on with this single mission, is we're going to actually do a little bit of a time lapse. And what this allows us to do is to take a look at a bit more in-depth of the actual mechanics of the game. Now, as you can see, typically when you get invaded, you have a choice on which territory you defend. Now, each time you do not defend an area, one of these triangles fills in. As you can see on this territory, there is a little bit of color creeping in there because it does have a spot filled, as does here. Actually, that territory does not. Yeah, just for fun, we're going to go ahead and ignore the invasion there.
I'm not laying the blame at anyone's feet, but corruption in one of our regions is reaching a critical level.
And once it's completely corrupted, it'll be gone forever.
So this will,
I
did that just so we could take a look at the game's interfaces. Now you have your main area, which is where you sit on your throne staring at this chalice. From here, you can interface with everything. Current research, I'm researching Bone Barb Arrow, but you do have, at least with some starter buildings here, we have a keep, a Sage Rights Guild, and a Crucible. Now, a keep allows you to marry off two of your heroes, and they run the keep, and they make babies. Now, we also have a Sage Rights Guild where you permanently, and every time you assign a hero to one of these buildings, it is permanent. They are removed from your ability to use them in fighting off the enemy. The Sage Rights Guild, they hasten research And then we have Crucible, where the Crucible, basically you put in a hero and they help boost the training level of new recruits. Basically, when babies are born, they're grown up and raised to be heroes. Now you have, of course, armor, weapons, and items that you can research. Now you can research heroes. You can have the Chalice go try and discover heroes from the populace. And you'll notice this is all in years. Now, the reason being, the premise of this game is you, as the ruler, the Chalice grants you basically immortality. Because of the Chalice has a very far-reaching plan where they are attempting to get rid of this darkness completely, but it will take a very, very long time. And so all of your research, all of your building construction takes place in a matter of years. And your heroes will age during that time. And as they age, their traits and their abilities decline with them. And we also have, we'll take a look at one of the keeps here. So we have House Vale. Now, I actually haven't been playing through this too well, because I've been more concerned with taking a look at everything and learning everything I can, but I've not been managing resources as well as I could, partly because this is the first time in a long time I've played a game like this, and I started off immediately on the hard difficulty level. Now you can see here is your timeline so far, and you can scroll back. This lists all of the events during your reign up to current, and you can see, because when you hit this here, you hit play, you start and wait, and the timer starts running through into the next event, whether it be research completion or an invasion or the death of one of your heroes. That will stop the clock. Now here we have the Sage Riots Guild. This is where you have a maximum so far that I've gotten to. You have a maximum of 3 people that you can have assigned here, and that is for life. Now, I've got a 59-year-old and a 57-year-old and a 15-year-old in here. These two probably won't be with us for too much longer, and they will need to be replaced, unfortunately. Because, like I said, everything progresses in years, and most of your heroes pass away from old age between the ages of late 50s to early 70s. Now here we have the Crucible, which is another key piece of tech. I have Esther, the Bone Maker Vale, manning this, and what she is, she's a level 5 hunter, and she is passing on her knowledge and experience to new trainees. And what this adds, 90 experience added to each trainee per year having her there. Of course, the higher level, more experienced person you get in there, the more experience they will be able to impart. Now we have, as you can see, this person, Erica Vale, is not even old enough to fight yet. She's only 14, but due to training and all that, she's already a level 3 enforcer. Now we also have Lyros Vale, who is a hunter. He's 2 years old, and he is already level 2. So as you can see, training up, especially considering you will be cycling through your heroes a lot in this game, you really will. Being able to train them up to a higher level is crucial as you get further along in the game, because I guarantee you, if you end up having to fight later battles with level 1 characters, you will have a very rough time of it. So, and each time, the invasions are completely random, but these are the territories you will defend. The air borders around here, this is basically you're trying to bide your time and keep them fended off until the Chalice completes what it needs to do, which is 225 years remaining. before the Chalice can do anything about the darkness. Now, so overall, you do have a good amount of resource management, and like I said, this is a turn-based tactical strategy game in the flavor of XCOM. One other thing I would like to note is the soundtrack in this game. The music is quite good. I really enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. So overall, this has been a very stable game, and if you are a fan of the style of turn-based strategy games, then I would say definitely go out and buy it now. Even if you are just intrigued in the game premise at all, the game mechanics are solid. The graphics are not bad. They're actually better than I expected them to be, and game stability has been fantastic. Like I said, I have not had a single glitch or bug, and the game has not crashed on me once. So with that, this has been a brief look at Massive Chalice, available on Steam for $20 or your regional equivalent. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe, and don't forget to share these videos with your friends. This has been SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.